Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 126 of Cameron Sports Podcast. It's your host, Cameron Lindsay. I'm back on the brand new episode. I'm here with my college football week 5 game picks and overview. News that's been going around so far during the college football, the 2025 college football season. So let's get right into it. So a week or two ago, a couple coaches got fired. UCLA, they fired their head coach, Deshaun Foster. I think he was only maybe there for a year or two. I think a year. I don't think he was there 2 years. A year and a half, because Chip Kelly was at Ohio State last year, and he took over. So about a year and a half. Then Virginia Tech fired their head coach, Brent Pry. Both schools fired their head coaches after an 0-3 start. Tough. Hate to see that happen, but something you gotta do what you gotta do. Now. That wasn't the only head coaching job that changed. Oklahoma State fired a long-time head coach, Mike Gundy. Like I said, he's been the head coach of Oklahoma State my whole life, whole childhood. He's a former player there. I think he played college football there, Oklahoma State. Coached him for a long time. But, changes got to be made. At some point, all good things come to an end. So, it is what it is. Oklahoma State, to be honest, was the worst team in the Big 12 last year, and right now they're the worst team in the Big 12 now. But out of these 3 jobs, I say probably the best one probably would be Virginia Tech. I'm not gonna lie, UCLA I don't think is a good job. And one, if I was Nico Imalava, I would think about transferring. It gives the transfer portals, is at least open for 30 days. Once if any head coaching changes are done during the season, they give 30 days. But those are the 3 head coaching jobs that changed the past week or two. Oklahoma State fired Mike Gundy this week. Virginia Tech and UCLA fired Deshaun Foster and Brent Pry about a week or two ago. Also some news that happened in college football. The NCAA passed the one-time transfer portal window. So instead of 2 transfer portals, in December, by the time the regular season ends in spring, so when spring ball ends, it's only gonna be 1 transfer window. I think it's gonna be in December probably. I think that's what I saw. Yeah, so I have no problem with it. I think it gives coaches a better way to really build their roster. So if a player's still there by the time spring ball comes around, they're going to be there because they can't leave. So that lets you know, okay, I don't have to recruit this many high school players, or I don't need this many transfers. So with the transfer window only being open one time, I think coaches, it helps them a little bit better building their roster. Now let's get also some news going on in college football. Ole Miss is expected to start quarterback Trinidad Chambliss against number 4 LSU tomorrow, Saturday, at home against LSU. Trinidad Chambliss is a Ferris State transfer, Division II school. He won a national championship at that level. Trinidad Chambliss has been playing amazing the past couple games. He's averaging 300 passing yards, 80 rushing yards so far. I think Austin Simmons, I believe he's somewhat 100%, but Lane Kiffin, I think he's probably going with the hot hand. He probably feels like Trinidad Chambliss is giving him the best chance to win. LSU and Ole Miss, I saw it watching TV the other day. Both schools have traded wins. Like LSU will win at home against Ole Miss, and then next year Ole Miss will beat LSU at home. So these 2 schools have been going back and forth almost each year. He probably feels like this gives him the best chance to win. Austin Simmons is still, even though he graduated college and got his degree at 17, 18 years old already, he's still young as far as like a player on the field. Things to work on. So, like I said, maybe Trinidad Chambliss gives them the best chance to win now, or maybe going forward. Give Ole Miss. I'm from Mississippi, and I ain't gonna lie, I want to see Ole Miss do good. They got the talent. They always, since Lane Kiffin been there, they always have had the talent. They just quite couldn't get over that hump. And this maybe could be a win that gets Ole Miss over the hump over LSU. I have no problem with it. Like I said, I definitely expect a good game from these two schools. Trinidad Chambers has been balling. Hopefully, he has a good game because I want to see a good game between these two schools. Some other news going around. Oklahoma quarterback John Mateer has undergone surgery on his right hand. I think that's his throwing hand. He's expected to be out a month. He's sustained the injury against Auburn last week and went over them. I hate to see that happen to him because he was looking like probably the Heisman Trophy favorite. In Oklahoma, it looked like Oklahoma was gonna have a real good season. Now, hopefully, they can sustain while he's out. I don't know, like maybe he might only miss a game or two. Who knows? But if Oklahoma maybe can have only one loss while he's out, or maybe only two. I mean, you can make the college football playoff as a 2-loss team, but you're gonna have to probably win, either come close to winning your conference. I mean, it depends. I say 2 losses. 10-2 can potentially get them in the playoff, even if they don't make the SEC championship game. But I hate to see that happen to him. That sucks because, like I said, he was looking like he's more likely probably going to win the Heisman, maybe. But prayers to him. Hope he makes a speedy recovery and gets back on the field for the Sooners. Now let's get right into my Week 5 game picks. We got a lot of great games this Saturday, y'all. Tomorrow I'll definitely look forward to these games. And starting with number 16, Georgia Tech 4-0, taking on Wake Forest 2-1. This will be a noon game. I'm going with Georgia Tech. I just think they're very, very talented. They're a school that the past last year and this year been really playing some good ball against some quality teams. They upset Florida State Week 1 in Dublin, Ireland. Well, during Week 0, they beat a Cam Ward team last year at home. This year, they beat a Clemson team at home that we thought that would be elite, loaded. That's loaded with talent with T.J. Parker, Peter Woods, Antonio Williams, Brian Wesco, Kate Klubnik, and one of the best college football coaches in the nation, Dabo Swinney. But Haynes King and that offense looked amazing. They stepped up and they beat Clemson. But I'm going with Georgia Tech. I really think Georgia Tech has a chance to make the ACC championship game. Now it's a long season still. Things can happen. Like, hey, even today, I watched the game with Florida State and Virginia. Virginia upset Florida State. So Georgia Tech better not play like Florida State did tonight. Taking the team lightly, that's unranked, and Wake Forest that's average, average team, not really good. Robbie Alford, somewhat of a decent player, but I don't want to take them lightly. But Haynes King and Jamal Haynes, that offense, I think they get the win in the road against Wake Forest. Next up, we got USC, number 21 in the nation, in AP poll, 4-0, taking on 23rd ranked Illinois, 3-1. USC is having a pretty good year so far. I'm shocked to see them 4-0, but Lincoln Riley got them boys playing some good ball. I'm not gonna lie. But Illinois coming off a dominant win, coming off a bad loss. Bad loss to Indiana, 63-10. Like I said, I think with them, I think this could be a bounce back game. I think it'd be a good game. I'm going Illinois. Like I said, a lot of transfers coming back. I mean, they got one of the most most returning starters in the Big Ten. I just think that I don't think they gonna give up 63 points again, like that happened to them again, like it did against Indiana. But I'm going Illinois. Next up, number 22 ranked Notre Dame, 1-2, taking on Arkansas, 2-2. Notre Dame finally got their first victory of the season. Arkansas coming off a shocking loss on the road to Memphis. And it looks like their head coach is potentially on the hot seat. So we could be having another head coaching job change. But I'll go to Notre Dame here. I just think Marcus Freeman, like I said, too good of a coach. Notre Dame is the best 2-loss team right now. Heck, they was ranked in AP poll with no win. So I think this, like I said last week, I think this could be a way that Notre Dame potentially, this is the only way they can get in the playoff is they're going to have to run the table and win the remaining of their games and have some chaos happen. If that happens, then they can get in. They probably get in maybe as like a low seed, like a 12th seed, because they're not a conference champion. So they're not going to really have a good shot to get a first round bye. So, but I'm going Notre Dame over Arkansas. I just don't. really trust the Arkansas team. Green and their defense, especially coming off a shocking upset to Memphis on the road. Next up, we got the number one team in the nation, the Ohio State Buckeyes at 3-0, taking on the Washington Huskies at 3-0. I was watching Joe's Klatt show, his podcast, and he's saying Washington. He's mad that the AP poll doesn't got Washington ranked in the top 25, and that they don't have a vote, AP vote. And Washington is a good team. I watched the spring game. They got a lot of good talent, especially at the running back position and wide receiver position. Their quarterback is a good player. So this potentially could be a good game. I'm not gonna lie, because you got Julian Sayin, a redshirt freshman. Even though they got Jeremiah Smith, even though they got Carnell Tate and Brandon Ennis, excuse me, and that Ohio State defense has looked amazing this season. I still think going on the road as a redshirt freshman, that's going to be a lot of pressure on Julian Sayin. Not saying that he's not going to step up, he just might. But I think it'll be a good game, and I think Ohio State will get the victory. I just trust Ryan Day more than I do Washington's head coach. Also, next game we got the Utah Utes 3-1 taking on Mount West Virginia Mountaineers 2-2. Utah coming off a tough loss at home against Texas Tech. I would say that don't let that score fool you. That was a good game for the most part. Texas Tech just pulled away at the end with turnovers, the offense. But that was a good game for the most part watching that game. Now for my Mountaineers, I'm not happy to say this. We did get our butts kicked badly by Kansas. I thought it would be a good game. I thought we could win. But obviously we didn't show up. I'm not going to be honest with y'all. I don't know who's going to start at quarterback for us, whether it's Nico Marchio or I forgot the other dude's name. I just want us to win at this point, make a bowl game, and take it from there, But I'm going to have to go Utah. I just think they're too talented. One of the best teams in the Big 12, and I won't be surprised if we get our butts kicked again. I'm going to keep it real. I would I may be a fan of my Chargers or West Virginia or my Lakers, but I'm going to keep it real. I'm not going to be a biased fan and be delusional no, we're going to win. Like I said, I'm also a journalist. I feel like that's what separates me from a casual. Those casuals would just be like, no, we're going to win. Come on now, be honest. We're a team that lost so many players in the transfer portal. We took a whole new players in the transfer portal. We got a new head coach, even though he's been at West Virginia before, Rich Rodriguez. It's just not going to happen in year one. So you're going to have some ups and downs, and it's going to be a game that we're going to lose, unfortunately. Now, next up, number 4, LSU 4-0 against their 13th-ranked Ole Miss 4-0. Like I said again, Lane Kiffin has named Trinidad Chambliss the starting quarterback, the transfer from Ferris State over Austin Simmons. This was a hard game to choose because, like I said, Ole Miss and LSU have traded blows each year. The home team has won each game in the past few years. And yeah, Garrett Nussmeier, the offense has been struggling lately. They played well against Clemson, but they've been struggling a little bit since then. But that defense has been playing amazing. That's the one thing that's been helping LSU, that defense. And Trinidad Chambliss has been playing amazing again. I said he's averaging 300 passing yards per game, 80 rushing yards per game since he took over due to Austin Simmons' injury at quarterback. But I'm gonna put faith in Garrett Nussmeier in that defense. I just think with the experience that he has, and LSU having the better defense, I'm gonna go slightly LSU over Ole Miss. But it would not shock me if Ole Miss gets the victory. Like I said, I do wish them success because, like I said, I'm from Mississippi, but I might have to go LSU in this one and a close one over the Ole Miss Rebels. Next up, we got Auburn Tigers 3-1 taking on number 9 Texas A&M 3-0. Auburn coming off a loss on the road to Oklahoma. Texas A&M, I think they was off last week. Was they? I believe they was. They're 3-0. 9th ranked in the country. I'm going to Texas A&M mainly because, like I said, Auburn, it's going to be tough to play in College Station in that stadium with the 12th man. Marcel Reed and that offense. He's a good quarterback. I just believe that at home, Marcel Reed, Casey Conception, that connection. I just think they're gonna be maybe a little bit too much for Auburn right now. Auburn was doing good, but I feel like they might have a tough stretch. Like they lost against Oklahoma, and now they got Texas A&M. That's not an easy back-to-back games right there. And Jackson Arnold's really going to step up. I know Cam Coleman can step up, but he can't throw the ball to himself. He's a very talented player, and I think he can have a breakout year this year. Like I said, he had a good game against Oklahoma, but I feel like Jackson Arnold needs to step up more and get him more involved in this offense. Well, especially Hugh Freeze being the head coach. Next up, number 11, Indiana 4-0, going against Iowa 3-1 on the road. Indiana coming off a dominant win against Illinois 6-3-10. Iowa 3-1 this season. Like I said, not too bad for them. Now, this could be a trap game if Indiana does take Iowa lightly, but it's a 3:30 game. If it was at night, I might be a little concerned, but I think Indiana's going to get the win. I think they going to keep the momentum running. It may get close, but I think they'll find a way to get the win if it is, but I trust them more than Iowa's offense. Iowa's defense, other than hand, they're somewhat solid. Not as elite as they used to be, but again, anything can happen in college football. But I got the Indiana Hoosiers in this game. It's up number 15, Tennessee 3-1, coming off a close heartbreaking loss to Georgia at home, taking on Mississippi State on the road. They're shockingly 4-0. I'm not gonna lie, I'm shocked because Mississippi State last year was terrible. I think who they upset? Either Arizona or Arizona State. It was somebody they upset. But Mississippi State is having a pretty good year. I'm not gonna lie. I wouldn't be surprised if this game is close, but I'm going to Tennessee Volunteers. I just think that they gonna bounce back from that win against Georgia. They had them. I know they're mad about that. And Joey, Joey. I think that's the name of the quarterback. I think he's a good player. Joey Alliger. I forgot to pronounce his name, y'all. Dang, I need to remember that. I know how to say his name once this episode's over. But I just trust that Tennessee offense. Josh Naple. I trust him. I think they're going to get the win over Mississippi State Bulldogs. Next up, got the Arizona Wildcats 3-0 in a Big 12 showdown against 14th ranked Iowa State Cyclones. They're 4-0. I got Iowa State. I just think that they're, like I said, they're coming off a real good season last year. They made the Big 12 championship game last year. Lost to Arizona State. They looked good in Ireland against Kansas State. They got the win over Iowa at home. And I just think they're going to keep the momentum going. Iowa State is a really good team that could potentially make the college football playoff, win the Big 12. It could be them and Texas Tech in the Big 12 championship game. But, yeah, I'm going Iowa State here. I just think that they're way too much talented than Arizona is. Especially with Terrell McMillan being in the NFL. He's not there at Arizona no more, so it's going to be hard on Fafita, I think, in this game. But I got the Cyclones over the Wildcats. Next up, 6th ranked Oregon Ducks, 4-0, taking on number 3 Penn State, 3-0. This could be potentially the game of the week. College Station will be in Happy Valley. This will be a whiteout game at night. That crowd is going to be, I know I'm probably going to feel it through my TV watching the game. Really, it's a whole lot of games. So I'm going to be flipping my channel. I'm going to have my laptop, my TV, my phone. I'm going to try to watch as much as I can because there's going to be a lot of good games going on. But I do like Oregon Ducks. This is a rematch from the Big Ten championship game last year. They beat Penn State last year, with Dylan Gabriel at quarterback. But he's gone in the NFL. You got Dante Moore, the redshirt sophomore, junior, transferred from UCLA. He transferred from UCLA to Oregon last year. This is his first year as a starter at Oregon. But I'll say one thing: the true freshman wide receiver, DeCorian Moore, is looking phenomenal. He's looking like the real deal. He's been balling. Like so, I said he had to step up because due to the fact that Stewart, the receiver, the transfer from Texas A&M, out for the season, and he's doing exactly that, stepping up as one of Oregon's top receiving threats in this offense. And Oregon's defense is looking good. Now, the run defense, it's been questionable, but other than that, they've been fine. Mateo Uiagalelei, the 5-star recruit junior, he's been looking amazing. He's, like I said, he's going to be a first-round pick in next year's NFL draft. But Penn State is hard to play there, especially at night. The wideout, Drew Aller, he hasn't been looking all that impressive, but he's still a good player. You still got Katron Allen, Nick Singleton, the best running back duo in all of college football. Last year it was Trevion Henderson and Quinshon Judkins. Yeah, clearly this year is Katron Allen and Nick Singleton. And that's the reason why I think I got Penn State winning this game due to the fact that Oregon's rush defense is a little suspect. And I think with Allen and Singleton, that 1-2 punch could be the key to this victory. Of course, Drew Aller has to step up. He has to play well. The receivers, the transfers they got in, they're going to have to play well for Penn State to win this game. And Penn State has been a school, they win a lot, but they haven't been able to beat schools that are just as good as them. Like Ohio State, Michigan, Oregon. This could be a game that they do, and I got the Penn State Nittany Lions. As much as I like Oregon, besides the uniforms, but the player, the coaches, Dan Lanning, Dante Moore, DeCorian Moore, Mateo Ulangale. I just think that playing on the road, it won't be surprising if Oregon wins this game. It would not surprise me at all. Like I said, as a journalist, I'm going to be wrong many times. It's going to be many times that I'm right. It's just that's how it's going to happen. On my podcast, I'm not afraid to be wrong. I expect to be. I'm not going to get every pick right. Heck, like you see me, I'll forget a player name, and then as soon as I'm done recording, I'll be like, dang, that's his name, or the coach. So that's one thing I'm working on. But like I said, this is again with two great coaches, James Franklin, head coach at Penn State, Dan Lanning, the head coach at Oregon, both elite. I think both these schools are going to make the college football playoff. But I'm going Penn State to win this game with Oregon Ducks in a close one. I think this key factor will be the running backs for Penn State, Nick Singleton and Katron Allen. Now, lastly, this is the one game everybody's looking forward to, especially around here in Georgia, Alabama. I live in Phoenix City, Alabama. It's the borderline of Columbus, Georgia. And this is the one game everybody's looking forward to, Georgia, Alabama. Last year was a classic. First, Alabama was up big at half, but Georgia came back, took the lead, tied up, and Alabama went right back down the field and took the lead with a long touchdown pass to Ryan Williams. Then they sealed it with an interception. Alabama's 2-1. They're 17th in the country. Their only loss is on the road to Florida State week 1. Georgia coming off a comeback win over the Tennessee Volunteers on the road. This game, it took me forever to pick because I'm like, okay, Ty Simpson has been really looking pretty good. It's not really his fault that they lost that Florida State game. He didn't look really bad at all. Ryan Williams was dropping passes. That defense got exposed against Florida State. They're not as physical as they were during the Nick Saban era. But Ty Simpson has not been playing bad ball, so it's not on him. But and then like on the other hand with Georgia, they're playing well. Zachariah Branch and the other playmakers, but I was like, you cannot trust Gunnar Stockton. Can he step up? He can run the ball with his legs, but can he throw it? And he proved that in that Tennessee game that he could throw it down the field long. So, but I'm like, Georgia, Alabama always plays Georgia good, play them tough. Matter of fact, Alabama has won 9 of the 10 last matchups against Georgia. Even when Nick Saban gone last year, Kalen DeBoer's first year, he beat Kirby Smart. So I took a lot of factors in. Also, I took in Georgia not losing at home since COVID. They've been on a long winning streak at home. And I also throw in the fact that this is a must-win game for Alabama because you have 2 losses this early in the season. Your chances to make the playoff don't look really good. But at the end of the day, I have to go with my gut feeling, my journalist feeling, and pick the Georgia Bulldogs. I just think that they're going to find a way to win. Gonna stop, Kirby, they're going to have a game plan where he don't have to do too much. Just don't turn the ball over. I think they get their win at home against Alabama in this matchup. But, those are my picks for this week, week 5. The news going around. UCLA finding a head coach, Virginia Tech, Oklahoma State. Josh Mateer out. Trinidad Chamberlain named the starter for Ole Miss over Austin Simmons. And we got some great games this Saturday, tomorrow. So tune in. But first, make sure you watch this episode. Like, comment, subscribe. If you want to touch down with Cam, I'm almost to 300 subscribers. 259, I think. Maybe it could be 260 with you clicking that subscribe button. hit my birthday, it's next week. So I'm just saying, it will be nice to, just get more subscribers, even just one. I appreciate y'all always tuning in, no matter what. I love y'all. I appreciate you, and I'll catch you next time. This has been your favorite host, Cameron Lindsay, of your favorite sports podcast, and I'm signing out. Peace.